we are beginning with today's lecture. In the political science classes, we are beginning with paper 2. Okay. Some of you have joined us from paper 2. Just remember, paper 1 and paper 2 are totally different from each other. You do not need to worry that paper 1 is not completed. Okay. Paper 2 is something that we will not understand. But when you have to study political science differently, when you have to study the international relations differently, that means you are reading a separate topic. Today we are starting with paper 2, and this paper 2 will be totally started from the foundation of the subject. Okay, the foundation of the subject is based upon always the study of thinkers and the thoughts, and the thoughts of international relations will not be same as the thoughts of political science. Because now, for a simple example, Plato, when gave his thought, there was no concept of international relations. There was no concept of nations. There was only city-state. So what is the point of going back to those thinkers? We will be focusing upon the thinkers that have established the subject of political science. Are we getting this? So before proceeding, let us see what is the syllabus of paper 2. The way we have discussed the paper 1, the way we have discussed all the topics, similarly we will start with the paper 2. So let us look at the syllabus. Is the screen visible to you all? Screen is visible. So we are understanding the paper 2 syllabus. Now paper 2 is not only about international relations. Okay. In paper 2, there is a subject that is called as comparative politics. So we'll be studying comparative politics. We'll be studying the perspective. First we know how to compare. How will we understand comparative politics? By understanding the nature and the major approaches of comparative politics. Okay. For example, systems approach. For example, structural functional approach. Okay. There are certain approaches. So we'll understand the major approaches of the comparative politics. We'll understand two major approaches that are specifically mentioned in the syllabus: political economy, specifically mentioned; political sociology, specifically mentioned. Then we'll understand the limitation of comparative method. That in spite of having such a brilliant method, why still we are not able to identify the comparisons between the two countries or the two nations. When we understand how to compare, then we will understand the states in the comparative perspective. It means how the states are in a capitalist economy, how they are in the socialist economy, and how they are in the advanced industrial and developing societies. This is how we will understand about the states. When we understand the states in the comparative politics, we will understand the concept of political parties. Not in India. We are not understanding the concept of political parties in India. We are understanding concept of political parties per se. It means what is a political party, why there is a political party, what purposes political parties fulfill. All these things we understand. We'll understand apart from political party, what are the other groups that are prevalent, like pressure groups. What is the difference between political parties and pressure groups? What is the difference between the social movements in the industrial and developing societies? This we will understand. When we understand the concept of these, we can very easily understand how political parties, pressure group, and social movements function in India. Very simply, we can understand. So when we are going into paper on part B, it is very easy for us to understand. Now you understand why I'm shifting from paper 1 to paper 2 by just completing part A of the paper 1. Why? Because concepts will be applied into paper 1 part B. Then we will understand the globalization of the world. Globalization of the world from the perspective of the developing country and developed country. Because when you are looking towards the globalization, the developed world looks from a different perspective. The developing world looks from a different perspective, right? For example, if you are a closed economy, you consider, you will feel that globalization is our enemy. Everything wrong is happening because of globalization. But if you are an open economy, you always want to have globalization, right? You always say that it's good we open our economy. It's always wonderful when we open our economy, right? So this is we'll understand. There are the approaches to study international relations. This we'll understand. This will be the first topic that we begin in the paper. The approaches to study international relations. Then there are key concept in international relations. So when we have understood the approaches, the name of the approaches are idealism, realism, Marxism, functionalism, and systems theory. When we'll understand, then we'll understand the important concepts. When we say that in international relations, there is only interest that is important, which is national interest. You must have heard this term, that in international relations, only one thing will matter, that is the national interest. Apart from the national interest, nothing matters. You must have heard this term. Yes or no? But we don't know what is national interest, because if someone asks you what is national interest, you say interest of the nation is national interest. You'll not be in a situation to define it. But this is the concept we have to do. You have to understand the concept of security and power. You must have heard all these things, that in the world of politics, only power matters. The nations are living in the the nations want to increase their power. All the nations, they are power hungry. But what is power? What is security? We'll be discussing about the balance of power and deterrence. These terms we have understood, but these terms are concepts. Until else we don't know the concept, we cannot understand what the purpose of the theory is. Then we'll focus upon the transnational actors. We'll understand the concept of collective security, and we will understand the concept of world capitalist economy and globalization. Okay, this topic we will combine with this. We'll study this together. Now, when we know the concepts, then only we will understand how the superpowers they rose. How the superpowers they rose, because the superpowers, they were focusing upon their national interest. They were increasing their power. They were breaking the concept of balance of power and the deterrence. So we'll understand the rise of superpowers. We'll understand the concept of bipolarity or multipolarity. We'll understand what is the arms race, what is the Cold War, and what is the nuclear threat. We'll understand the concept of non-alignment movement, its aims and achievements. We understand how the Soviet Union collapsed, how the Cold War ended. We'll understand how America became the superpower, and we'll understand what is the relevance of the non-alignment world. And in the simple thing, we have to do the Cold War from beginning to the end. Understood? It is nothing but the understanding of Cold War from the beginning to the end. This is what we'll be doing. Then we'll be understanding the evolution of the world economic system. In world economy, two institutions are very important, that is IMF and World Bank. These are the Bretton Woods institutions. Then WTO is very important. They are socialist economies because these are the capitalist instruments. These are the institutions of the capitalist world. IMF, World Bank, WTO. For the socialists, they had the instruments of the CMEA. So that we'll understand. We'll understand the role of the third world in these institutions. What type of economic order they demand. And when we know type of economic order, we have already understood the globalization from the third world perspective. So we can combine it as the world perspective. Okay. Then we will understand United Nations as an organization from the beginning till its need of reforms. We'll do that. We'll be discussing the organizations, regional organizations like EU, ASEAN, APEC, SAARC, and NAFTA. Okay, these all things we will understand. That does not mean that only these are mentioned in the syllabus, so only these will be asked. Okay, there can be more than that. Okay, very good. Now let us understand further. That is the contemporary global concerns, because when we know the concept, we need to understand the concerns also. So contemporary global concerns is democracy, human rights, environment, gender justice, terrorism, and proliferation. All these things, I'll tell you, and we'll be discussing that in detail. I'm just explaining the syllabus to you. Now, when you have understood the concept of the paper 2 in the part A, it will be very easy for you to apply that in the paper 2 part B. Because when you know all the concepts of IR, can you understand how the foreign policy of India will be determined? What are the determinants? Where you will understand what are the institutions of policy making and how the policy is continuing and changing. Very easy for us. When we know what is non-alignment movement after understanding the Cold War, we can very easily understand the different phases of non-alignment movement for India. When we have understood the role of the world, we can identify the role of India in the SAARC, in the South Asian region. Because concepts are clear, we just have to watch it from the India's perspective. Then we have to understand the India's perspective not only of the South Asia but also the global South. The perspective of the developed world, the perspective of India towards the UN, the perspective of India towards the nuclear ideas, the perspective of India towards the recent developments in the world. This is what is there in the paper 2. It means the theory part and the application with respect to India. This is there that we have to do in the paper 2. Simple and very scoring. Okay, which book you have to prefer? There is a book, Steve Smith, Baylis and Smith. Book name is called as Baylis and Smith. That is a very good book. Foreign Policy, Does the Elephant Dance? You can read another book, wonderful book, that is India's Foreign Policy. India's Foreign Policy by Harsh V. Pant. This is also a good book. Harshi Pant. Okay. I am not suggesting you to read Pax Indica. I'm not suggesting you to read. Rather, otherwise it will be your choice. I'm not suggesting. I'm suggesting you to read Harshi Pant or Does the Elephant Dance by David Malone. So these are the books, these are the syllabus for the paper 2. Okay, sorted. If you have any doubt till now, till this point, please tell me. Yes.
कौन सी बुक, मतलब अगर कोई जरूरी है कि एसेंशियल ये पढ़ना, तो वो कौन सी सही रहेगी या फिर नोट से काम?
नोट्स हैं, और if time permits, I have all these books. I'll give you the copies, or I'll try to. I'm not promising it right now. Okay, पहली बता, I'm not promising it right now, but if time permits, I'll give you the 4 images of those chapters that are important from these books in a PDF form. So rather than purchasing the book, you can, because in every book, all the topics are in different books. There is no one book for this paper. This is the best thing and the worst thing about the paper 2. Best and the worst thing. What is best? That the topics are very simple and there is no one book. So whatever ideas you have, those ideas will be unique. So you'll be getting good marks in this. But the worst thing is there is no one book. So it is very difficult to read all the topics. Okay. Understood? So rather than focusing upon books, focus upon concepts and read the history more. So we'll study the history of the IR also while we are doing separate countries. When we read the history, we know better about the relations, right? So this is how we'll be doing. And first, go through the classes. After that, if you feel like that still need to go through the books, I'll tell you the books. If someone who stays in the vicinity, I'll give my books to that person. That person will click the images for himself or herself also and give it to others also. We'll do that. Okay, we'll find the best solution because the books for IR are costly also. Okay, books for IR are costly also because generally we do not study IR in the graduation. We study IR in the masters. Again, masters, the students generally study in the library, and these books are, that is why, not generally in the paperback edition. Generally not in the paperback edition. बड़ा अच्छा अच्छा पेज होता है इनका, पढ़ने बहुत मजा आता है, लेकिन कॉस्टली भी है. You have PDF Smith and Bailey. Okay, so you share it on the group, then I'll tell you the chapters, which chapters to read. Okay. You can read Haywood also, but I find Bayliss and Smith better than Haywood. Okay, I find it better than Haywood. That's just your choice. Okay. Any other doubt? Shall we continue with international relations? तो बड़ी बड़ी हेडिंग डालिए इन नोट्स. ठीक है, बड़ी बड़ी हेडिंग डालिए. इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस पेपर 2 पार्ट ए. इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस पेपर 2 पार्ट ए. बड़ी बड़ी हेडिंग. No doubt. चलिए. Heading you all have put. Heading you all have put. Very good. So, you know, before we begin with any topic, we ask a very simple question. What is the meaning of that topic? So the day we started political science, we talk about political science. The way it started, IR will start with this question. What is international relations to you? What is international relations to you?
That is the relationship between any of the nations in terms of social relations, political, economic, in all the aspects, how two countries relate with each other or depend on each other.
Very good. Very good. Any other person?
This is an agreement between two countries.
It is an, आवाज नहीं आ रही बेटा, म्यूट हो गया.
Agreement.
एग्रीमेंट. इतने ढीले क्यों हो रहे हो? तबीयत ठीक है? पेपर ठीक हुआ? पेपर वैसे तो नहीं हो, इसीलिए ढीले हो.
सही नहीं हुआ सर पेपर.
अरे तो ठीक है, सही किसका हुआ है ये बताओ. कौन है जिसका पेपर सही हुआ है? देखा है ना पेपर 2021 वाला, तो जिसका सही हुआ है उसका प्री नहीं हो रहा है. ठीक है, क्योंकि पेपर इज वेरी एम्बिगुअस. कौन पढ़ के जाता है स्पोर्ट्स? वेरी एम्बिगुअस. वेरी, द पेपर इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द नंबर ऑफ टॉपिक्स दैट आर जनरली आस्क्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन. सबके साथ ऐसा हुआ है, ये मत सोचो. ठीक है, हो गया. आप आगे बढ़ो, मेंस की तरफ बढ़ो. वही अटके रहोगे कि उस दिन ये वाला क्वेश्चन की जगह इसको ठीक कर देते, ये कर देते. ऐसे तो हमेशा रहेगा. ठीक है, और जिस साल सिलेक्शन होगा पता भी नहीं होगा कहाँ पे कितने मार्क्स आ रहे थे प्री, है ना. अभी प्री का रिजल्ट आ जाएगा, हो जाएगा, फिर सारी गलतियां माफ कर दोगे अपनी, है ना. तो बस मत सोचो, मतलब ऐसे हाइंडसाइट में जाके हम लोग कुछ चेंज नहीं कर सकते. जिस चीज को चेंज नहीं कर सकते उस चीज के परेशान नहीं होते, क्योंकि हम लोग क्या है ना, इसी टेंशन में आगे के लिए अपना आगे के अटेम्प्ट्स में दिक्कत दे देते हैं. चाहे वो मेंस का अटेम्प्ट हो, चाहे वो प्री का हो, आगे उसमें दिक्कत दे देते हैं, और वो नहीं करना है. ये बहुत बड़ी गलती है. जब तक रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा है तब तक मानना है प्री हो रहा है. ठीक है, जब तक रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा है, जब तक यूपीएससी ना मना करे कि नहीं इस साल नहीं अगले साल, तब तक आप अपने आप को आउट नहीं माने। एक बार बताइए, पिछले साल जितने लोगों के 93 94 आ रहे थे, सब अपने आप को आउट मान के बैठ गए थे कि हमारा तो नहीं हो रहा, हम क्या करेंगे, है ना। फिर क्या हुआ, हो गया होगा प्री, राइट। फिर तो उनका फिर अब बैठे होंगे हमारा तो नहीं हुआ क्योंकि हम हार मान के बैठे थे, हमने मेंस का नहीं पढ़ा। तो जस्ट कंटिन्यू एंड बताया सीरियसली पढ़ना है, हार्डली नहीं, है ना। सीरियस रहो, पढ़ते रहो, काम ही आना है, राइट। वेरी गुड। सो व्हाट इज इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन, बताइए बच्चों। रिलेशन बिटवीन द नेशंस, राइट। रिलेशन बिटवीन द
नहीं सर,
नेशंस, सिंपल।
एनजीओज और इंटरनेशनल बॉडीज आल्सो।
इंडियाज एंड इंटरनेशनल बॉडीज आल्सो, वेरी गुड। अगर हम सिंपली समझे, it is the relation of a political state with anything that is outside the territory of its geography. The relation of a political entity, because we are the students of international relations, we are not the students of general studies. I will say it is the relations between the countries. We say international relations are the relations of a political entity with anything that is outside its geographical territory, be it an organization, be it a country, be it a terrorist or group, be it a human rights organization, be it a climate change controlling body, be it a human rights organization, be it a space collaboration, be it the marine research, everything that is outside its boundary, because all these things are sometimes not handled by one organization. You have to have a global collaboration. Earlier, there used to be two terms. First, global politics and international politics. Okay. Now we generally consider global politics as a wider term, but it is not the global politics which is a wider term. It is the international politics, because global means anything that is within the globe, and globe is a political idea. The globe does not include NGOs. कभी ग्लोब में देखा है बनी हुई लोकेशन ये एनजीओ है? कभी देखा ग्लोब में कंट्रीज के अलावा कुछ और देखा आपने ग्लोब में? देखा सपोर्ट है एक एक्सेल लोहे का लगा होता सपोर्ट के लिए, उसके अलावा वी हैव नॉट सीन एनीथिंग, राइट। सो ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स is representing the globe, the countries in the globe. That means it is dealing with only the political entities. But when it comes to international relations, it is not only dealing with the political entities. It is dealing with anything that is outside its territory. Even it may be an attack by the unidentified flying objects. That will also be part of the international relations. अरे सिंपल सी बात है ना, एक दिमाग में क्वेश्चन समझिए, अगर एलियंस आ जाते हैं, ठीक है, तो कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री डील करेगी एलियंस से? ना, बहुत सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है। और हो सकता है बिकॉज इफ समथिंग, एलियंस क्या है, अब दो टाइप के एलियंस होते हैं, एक तो होता है पॉलिटिकल एलियंस और एक होते हैं यूएफओ, अनआइडेंटिफाइड फ्लाइंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स, या अब यूएलओ भी बोल दो, लैंडिंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स अगर लैंड कर दिया, तो विच मिनिस्ट्री विल डील विद दैट? सो इट कैन बी the Ministry of External Affairs only, because it deals with the international relations. Getting my point? So international relation is not just कि आप गए, आपने मीटिंग करी दूसरी कंट्री के हेड ऑफ द स्टेट से, हो गया आपका काम, नहीं, everything you have to deal. That is why it is a dynamic subject. Now the question comes, is it a new subject or it is a subject that has been coming for a long time? Since when? We have to trace the history of international relations. कब से शुरुआत हुई होगी?
सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद।
सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद? बेटा सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद शुरुआत हुई, तो सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर ही क्यों हुआ?
सर जब से सिटी स्टेट बने तब से।
जब से सिटी स्टेट बने, लेकिन बेटा हम खुद ही बोल रहे हैं सिटी स्टेट है, वो तो ग्रीक वाले आपस में लड़ रहे थे, स्पार्टन्स और एथेंस वाले आपस में लड़ रहे हैं। ऐसे अगर दो गली मोहल्लों में लड़ाई हो जाती है, क्या उसको वॉर बोलेंगे? कि दूसरी टीम वाले ने एक दूसरे के ऊपर कुछ फेंक, उसको वॉर थोड़ी बोलेंगे। तो कब से शुरू हुआ इंटरनेशनल
तो
रिलेशन?
वो नाम नहीं याद आ रहा है, बट जब से नेशन स्टेट्स रिकॉग्नाइज हुए वो ट्रीटी।
अरे सिंपल, हाँ बिल्कुल, जब नेशन बनेंगे तभी तो लड़ेंगे, या तभी तो रिलेशन बनाएंगे। अच्छा, हमारा और उनका रिश्ता कब से शुरू हुआ? हिस्ट्री ट्रेस करनी तो कब से ट्रेस करेंगे? हाँ, कब से ट्रेस करते हैं? कुंडली कब से मिलाते हैं? क्या पूछते हैं कुंडली के लिए? कौन सी डेट बताओ? आप लोग क्या सोचने लग गए कि अच्छा आज स्टोरी बताएंगे? नहीं। तो कुंडली कब से मिलाई जाती है बताइए? कुंडली कब से मिलाते हैं? बर्थ डेट से, है ना? उससे पहले भी पूछते हैं ना कब से बर्थ हुआ, यानी कि रिलेशन तो तभी से स्टार्ट हो गया जब से बॉर्न हो गए। बस इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन भी तभी से स्टार्ट होगा जब नेशंस बॉर्न हुए। नेशंस बॉर्न हुए, रिकॉग्नाइज हुए। अब रिकॉग्नाइज कब होता है? वर्ल्ड कब रिकॉग्नाइज करता है किसी का बर्थ? अब बच्चा जो है, बच्चे का डेवलपमेंट तो वूम में स्टार्ट हो गया ना, बट वर्ल्ड कब रिकॉग्नाइज करेगा? जब बच्चा सबने देख लिया। वरना डॉक्टर को पता है कि हाँ एक बच्चा है, मदर को पता है बच्चा है, फादर को पता है बच्चा है, लेकिन वर्ल्ड कब कहेंगे दिखाओ कहाँ है बच्चा? वो दिखाएंगे तभी से रिकॉग्नाइज होता है ना? ऐसे ही इंटरनेशनली नेशन आप अपने आप को बता सकते हैं कि नेशन है, लेकिन जब तक वर्ल्ड रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करेगा तब तक यू विल नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज अ नेशन स्टेट। और रिकॉग्निशन कब मिला? ये कुंडली का सिस्टम कब से हुआ? जब रिकॉग्निशन मिलना शुरू हुआ द डेट ऑफ बर्थ को। रिकॉग्निशन डेट ऑफ बर्थ को मिलने लगा, राइट? तो अगर आप पुराने लोगों से पूछोगे, पुराने लोगों को डेट ऑफ बर्थ नहीं पता है, इसीलिए वो भूल जाते थे, इसीलिए तभी कुंडली बनवा के रख लेते थे, उनको नहीं पता होता था। अब हमें पता है इसलिए हम कभी बना लेते हैं, सॉफ्टवेयर डाउनलोड किया, मैच करी, बस हो गया काम, है ना? सो देयर हैज टू बी एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग of international relations only when the nation started becoming as the nation state, and for that there was a treaty that was called as Treaty of Westphalia. Okay, so the evolution of international relations we'll study from the Treaty of Westphalia. उससे पहले कुछ नहीं, उससे पहले सब अपना अपना चल रहा था। उससे पहले थिंकर्स बोलते थे ऐसी पॉलिसी होनी चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए, लेकिन ऐसा होने चाहिए से मतलब नहीं होता ना। रिकॉग्निशन कब होगा? जब चीज सामने आती है ना, सामने आती है। उससे पहले आप क्या बोलेंगे? इट इज जस्ट अ कंसेप्ट, इट इज जस्ट अ कंसेप्ट, ठीक है? इट इज जस्ट एन आइडिया। रिमेंबर व्हेन वी स्टडी Machiavelli, we say Machiavelli's ideas on international relations. We did not consider them the Machiavelli's provisions for international relations. We said it's the idea of Machiavelli for international relations, because from the time of Machiavelli we may see कि ऐसा कुछ होना स्टार्ट होने वाला था। ओके, आर वी क्लियर? यस, नो? वेरी गुड। सो हाँ बेटा।
सर पहले जो स्टेट्स थे, जैसे अपन उसका देखे अशोक के टाइम का, तो अशोक ने अपने जो दूत थे वो अदर कंट्रीज में भेजे थे।
हाँ
तो
बेटा।
उसने उनको एक रिलेशंस बनाए उन्होंने, चाहे वो कैसे भी बनाए।
हाँ,
तो सर हमने इसको जो आपने ट्रीटी बोला था, उस ट्रीटी को ही क्यों ऐसा किया कि भाई के इस टाइम पे ही नेशंस एग्जिस्ट किए? ये तो ऐसा मान सकते हैं ना
बेटा
कि ये मॉडर्न टाइम का एक मतलब कंसेप्ट है, मतलब
रुको,
वो
तो अशोकन को क्या बोलते थे? अशोकन क्या होता था? आगे वर्ड पूरा करो। अशोकन कंट्री,
एम्पायर।
एम्पायर। अशोकन एम्पायर था, उसमें आइडेंटिफाई करते यहाँ से दूर दूर तक जहां जमीन जा रही हो हमारी है। आज एम्पायर किसका? अगले दिन सुबह किसी और का भी हो सकता है, ठीक है? देयर वाज नो रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ ईच अदर्स एम्पायर, दे वर ओनली बेस्ड अपॉन द कंसेप्ट ऑफ पावर। एक दूसरे की टेरिटोरियल रिकॉग्निशन हर कोई नहीं करता था। एक दूसरे में मान लिया, ठीक है, तीसरा माने ना माने फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। आज खिलजी आ रहा है, खिलजी आ जाएगा कहीं से बाबर आ रहा है, बाबर आ जाएगा, कहीं से अलेक्जेंडर आया, वो आ जाएगा। वो क्या है, they were expanding their empire, but there was no international recognition that we are coming together and we are giving recognition to this area as a political state. ये ट्रीटी ऑफ वेस्टफेलिया में डिसाइड किया था। क्यों? क्योंकि उससे पहले expansionism became temporary, and because of its temporary expansionism the states could not develop themselves properly until unless you are, आप समझिए, आपने एक एरिया कैप्चर किया, ठीक है, आपको पता है either the home country will try to capture it again or the third country will try to capture it again. Will you develop that region? No. The people will always be living under certain fear or threat of any kind of invasion. Because of all these things, the world was living in a complex, fearful state. इसीलिए the countries they came together and already उस टाइम पे सबसे बड़ा लड़ाई झगड़े की रीजन क्या था? मिडिवल टाइम्स, एंशिएंट टाइम्स में भी समझिए कि रिलीजन डेवलप हो रहा था, मिडिवल टाइम्स में सबसे बड़ी लड़ाई ही रिलीजन की थी। तो बिफोर द ट्रीटी ऑफ वेस्टफेलिया एक ट्रीटी आई, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज ट्रीटी ऑफ ऑक्सबर्ग। ट्रीटी ऑफ ऑक्सबर्ग, वहां पे द स्टेट वाज गिवन राइट टू रिसाइड that the state can identify the religion with which the state will associate. Before that, the church was identifying the state. By the Treaty of Augsburg, the state was identifying the church. So the idea of the political entity developed. अगर आप अशोका भी देखेंगे, अशोकन एम्पायर भी देखेंगे, it was too much of dependent upon the religious beliefs. Mauryan Empire में under the Chandragupta Maurya, it was more inclined towards the Jainism belief. Then under the rule of who was this son of Chandragupta Maurya? Bindusara. Bindusara's Ajivika sect. Then son of Bindusara, Ashoka, he was inclined towards Buddhism. तो रीजन चेंज हो रहा है, एम्पायर चेंज हो रहा है, कोई भी स्टेबिलिटी नहीं है। और सेकुलरिज्म की तो बात ही नहीं थी। वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में आइडिया है सेकुलरिज्म का मैकियावेली से शुरू हुआ। मैकियावेली वाज इन दी 16th सेंचुरी ओनली, 1555 से पहले या उसके आसपास। तो वहां से जब सेकुलरिज्म का कंसेप्ट आया, तभी पॉलिटिकल स्टेट का कंसेप्ट आया, और वहीं से चीजें शुरू होनी शुरू हो। ओके, यस, नो? So when we study the international relations, we trace the history from the Treaty of Westphalia. समझ में आ रहा है? Yes, no?
सर, जैसे आपने इसका सेक्युलरिज्म का कॉन्सेप्ट बताया, मैकियावेली से शुरू हुआ है, तो हम लोगों ने हिस्ट्री में जैसे पढ़ा था कि इंडिया में आने का एक रीजन वाज आल्सो क्योंकि मुस्लिम्स ने टर्की कैप्चर कर लिया था। तो सेक्युलरिटी एक तरह से थी नहीं, मतलब उस समय भी मेडिवल टाइम्स ही चल रहे थे।
इंडिया में आने का रीजन किसका? ब्रिटिश का आने का रीजन?
तो यूरोपियन पावर्स का आने का रीजन बताया था ना इसमें, टर्की को कैप्चर कर लिया था अरब्स ने, तो दैट वाज कंसीडर्ड एज अ थ्रेट टू क्रिश्चियनिटी।
बेटा टर्की ने कैप्चर किया था, ओटोमन एम्पायर को कैप्चर किया था, ठीक है? ये तो कंट्री कंसेप्ट नहीं था, ओटोमन एम्पायर को कैप्चर किया था। ये तो अब हम मानते हैं ओटोमन एम्पायर मतलब टर्की, अब बना है वो टर्की, ठीक है? तब तो इस्तांबुल की लड़ाइयां चलती थी, खलीफा हुआ करता, वहां पे खलीफा का रूल। खिलाफत मूवमेंट, जो वन ऑफ द रीजन ऑफ द खिलाफत मूवमेंट वाज द सेक्युलराइजेशन ऑफ द टर्किश खलीफाज रूल आफ्टर द फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर, ठीक है? तो हर चीज का अलग अलग आइडिया होता है, अलग अलग कंसेप्ट है, लेकिन उसको हम लिंक करेंगे तो बहुत कंफ्यूज हो जाएंगे। ये समझिए 1648 से हम लोग शुरू करेंगे, ठीक है? And international relations is in phases. It is not in one go. It is in phases. यानी कि when we see the nation states emerged, first Treaty of Westphalia. 1648 यहां से एक फेज पूरा रहा जहां सब कुछ बढ़िया था। कौन सा था वो? फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर। तो 1914 to 1918 एक अलग फेज था। एक अलग फेज था। आफ्टर 1914 to 18 एक नया फेज आया जिसको बोलते हैं इंटर वॉर फेज और इंटर वॉर पीरियड। तब आईआर बहुत डिफरेंट था। फिर वॉर खत्म हुआ तो कौन सा फेज आया? कोल्ड वॉर, राइट? कोल्ड वॉर फेज आया आफ्टर द वॉर, एंड फिफ्थ फेज इज पोस्ट कोल्ड वॉर टाइम्स. So these are the various phases that we understand in the international relations. Okay. So these are the phases. So जो हम IR पढ़ेंगे, this is the type of understanding that we need to have. Okay. Now the concept of IR has become very dynamic. First, it was only a political entity that is trying to establish different type of relations, right? Right. Now it is that जैसे इसको बोल दे मॉडल्स बोला जाता है। एक होता था बिलियर्ड्स बॉल मॉडल, बिलियर्ड्स बॉल जैसे दो बिलियर्ड्स बॉल एक दूसरे टकराती हैं, अपना चलती रहती। फिर अब एक आ गया 3D चेस बोर्ड मॉडल, मतलब these are so much of inclined towards each other. One country, यहाँ पर एक कंट्री उसके किसी और से रिलेशंस, बहुत सारी चीजें डिपेंडेंट होंगे। Why? The reason is because of the global commons. Because of the global commons, the world has shifted from one direction to another direction. What are the global commons? कुछ ऐसी threats that world is witnessing, which is affecting everyone. Climate change. पहले किसी ने सोचा नहीं था ऐसा कुछ होगा, right? But it has become a reality. ठीक है, पहले लोग कैसे डिफाइन करते कलयुग क्या होगा? जहां बर्फ पिघल जाया करेगी, है ना, जहां लोग प्यासे मरेंगे, ये सब बताते। अब इसको हम क्या समझते हैं? क्लाइमेट चेंज, ग्लोबल कॉमन। ऐसा तो नहीं है कि अन्य तुम्हारी कंट्री में होता होगा, हमारी में तो नहीं है, हमारी में तो कोल्ड एयर चलती है, ऐसा तो नहीं है, सब परेशान है, राइट? सेकंड ग्लोबल कॉमन क्या प्रॉब्लम आए? पैंडेमिक, कोविड-19। पहले हमको क्या लगता था? इबोला ये तो गरीब देशों में होता है, हमारे कुछ नहीं होता है। जीका ये तो वहां होता है, हमारे कुछ नहीं होता। पहले ये देखिए, पैंडेमिक तो पहले भी थे ना, जीका, इबोला, लेकिन वी वर नॉट कंसर्न। हम लोग मास्क लगाने वाले को कहते थे अरे बदबू आ रही है कि जो मास्क लगाया हुआ है, ठीक है। वी यूज्ड टू ट्रीट पीपल as some that they are doing something bad when they're wearing mask, because we considered ये तो दूसरे बाहर देशों में होता, हमारे नहीं होता। हम पता है you go to China, people wear mask. This is how people used to talk. Those who visited China, this is how they used to talk. Ki do you know in China people wear mask, right? But now we all are affected by the pandemic. It is a global concern, right? Terrorism, is it a problem of one country? No, so many countries are involved in this. So this is also a global common. At the same time, human rights violations, gender issues, these are the global commons and the global concerns. Global commons means which is common for everyone, and the global concern which affects everyone, positively or negatively. Are we clear? So the IR has evolved itself from the relation only between the countries to the relation within the countries, towards the countries, towards each other. Why? Because we are now too much interconnected. अब एक सिंपल चीज है, as you as an individual, आप कितनी सारी कंट्री से कनेक्टेड होंगे एक ही टाइम पर? एक ही टाइम पर आप कितनी सारी कंट्रीज से कनेक्टेड है? अभी हम जूम यूज कर रहे हैं, वी आर कनेक्टेड टू द यूएस से, राइट? हम राउटर यूज कर रहे होंगे किसी चाइनीज, जापानीज या ताइवान की कंट्री का, ठीक है, वी आर कनेक्टेड टू चाइना, हम इंटरनेट यूज कर रहे होंगे, इंटरनेट की केबल्स हमें नहीं पता कहाँ से आ रही, कहाँ जा रही हैं. We are connected. We must be using our phone devices from various countries. It can be from USA, it can be from China, it can be from Japan, it can be made in India also. So at this moment, we are connected with so many countries at the same time. And we as an individual, when we are connected with so many countries, consider how the countries are connected with each other. Right? Are we clear? Yes? No? Very good. अभी तक कोई doubt? Do we have any doubt till now? Yes. No. ठीक है. So we'll start writing. We have written international relations, बड़ी heading. Right? Very good. First, note this down. Not this. Yeah, phases of international, just for scribbling. For your notes, phases of international relations. Done? Very good. Start writing. International relations. International relations is traditionally defined in traditional terms. Traditional international relations defined as relations among the nations. Relations among the nations. Relations among the nations. Right? Relations among the nations. Full stop. However, after the end of Second World War, the nature of international politics started changing. However, after the end of Second World War, the nature of international relations or international politics started changing. And now And now there are multiple actors involved in the field of international politics. And there are multiple actors involved in the field of international politics. Full stop. In the contemporary times, state sovereignty and territorial integrity are not the only concerns. In the present times, state sovereignty and territorial integrity are not the only concerns of the international relations. Now the issues have become multidimensional. Now the issues have become multi-dimensional. Multidimensional, where the issues are global, where the issues are now global, ranging from, where the issues are now global, ranging from ethnic movements to climate change, ethnic movements to climate change, human rights to terrorism, human rights to terrorism.
सर फ्रॉम के बाद रिपीट करेंगे.
From ethnic movements to climate change, human rights to terrorism. Ethnic movement to climate change, human rights to terrorism.
सर एथिक की स्पेलिंग
ETHNIC. ETHNIC. Ethnic movements. जैसे आप इंडिया में रहते हैं, क्या आपको पता है चाइना में एथनिक मूवमेंट्स की डिमांड है इन दी जिंगजियांग प्रोविंस, उइघुर माइनॉरिटीज? उइघुर माइनॉरिटीज के बारे में पता है? पता है, नाम सुना है? चलो ये नहीं सुना. कुर्द्स के बारे में नाम सुना? कुर्द्स है ना. तो क्या हो गया, ग्लोबल कंसर्न नहीं हो गया, ग्लोबल इश्यूज हो गए. कुर्दिस्तान के बारे में अगर हम इंडिया में जानते हैं, है ना, तो इट हैज नाउ, इट मींस बिकम, एवरीथिंग इज ग्लोबल नाउ. ओके, very good. Now लिखिए, तो it ranges from ethnic movements to climate change, human rights to क्या था, terrorism, human rights to terrorism, then protectionism to trade facilitation, protectionism to trade facilitation.
सर टू ट्रेड
Facilitation, trade facilitation. And hence now international relations are called as international politics. या फिर ऐसे लिखे, hence the international relations have now become इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स। ठीक है, लिखिए अब नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ में, एवोल्यूशन ऑफ इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स, एवोल्यूशन ऑफ द स्फीयर ऑफ इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स। इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स लिखिए। In 1555, with the Treaty of Augsburg, in 1555, with the Treaty of Augsburg, the recognition of the sovereignty of the state. In 1555, with the Treaty of Augsburg, Treaty of Augsburg started the recognition of the sovereignty of the state. Okay, full stop. It is for the first time
सर एक बार रिपीट करेंगे क्या पूरा?
in 1555, in 1555, with the Treaty of Augsburg, AUGSBERG, with the Treaty of Augsburg, the recognition of sovereignty of the state began. Recognition of the sovereignty of the state began, which gave power to the prince to determine the religion of the people, determine religion of the people living in a territory, under his authority. Under his authority. Full stop. ठीक है? Full stop. Right, next line of phase 1. Phase 1. Phase 1. From Treaty of Westphalia. Phase 1. From Treaty of Westphalia to Treaty of Augsburg. With Treaty of Westphalia to First World War. With Treaty of Westphalia to First World War. Treaty of Westphalia to First World War. Okay. Right. The Treaty of Westphalia in 1648. The Treaty of Westphalia in 1648 gave the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648 gave the explicit recognition to the concept of the sovereignty of the nation state. Explicit recognition to the sovereignty of the nation state. Full stop. Nation state. Full stop. As a result of this treaty, state become a unit of international politics. As a result of this treaty, state became a unit of international politics. Full stop. Full stop. This phase in IR is called as the Westphalian order. This phase in IR is called the Westphalian order. Okay? Westphalian order. अब उस टाइम पे बाकी कंट्रीज की तो लोग जानते थे, अफ्रीका तो पता ही नहीं लोगों को कुछ ऐसा है भी, है ना? तो लिखिए, दिस फेज वाज हार्डली ग्लोबल. This phase was hardly global and it was confined to this phase was hardly global and was confined to the European continent. European continent, comma. The US was not part of the world politics. Socho, US is the most powerful country right now and it was not the part of world politics. बताइए, मतलब वो जमाना जब Ambani's was not there in the economic system. Can you imagine that world? That was the similar way. The Westphalian world order was the order where US was following the policy of isolationism. So USA was not part of the world politics and it was following the policy of isolationism. Isolationism. Full stop. Isolationism, full stop nahi. And rest of the world was nothing but a colony. And rest of the world was nothing but a colony of the European nations. And rest of the world was nothing but a colony of the European nations. Okay. European nations. IR during this phase, international relations during this phase, international relations during this phase was defined as the great power politics. International relations during this phase was defined as the great power politics. Full stop. उस टाइम पे बस ये चलता था, जिसके पास पैसा और मसल पावर है वही स्ट्रांग है. ठीक है, आज के जमाने में तो ऐसा नहीं है. अच्छा, आज के जमाने में ऐसा तो नहीं होता किंग से बोलते हैं जाइए आप लड़के आइए. पहले तो ये होता था ना, किंग जाते थे लड़ाई करने. आपने देखा होगा पुरानी पिक्चरों में अकबर जो है हाथी से लड़ रहा है, ये सब देखा होगा ना. ठीक है, ये सब क्यों दिखाते थे? आपको क्या लगता है इंसान को हाथी से लड़ सकता है? तब नॉर्मल बताइए, हाथी से लड़ सकता है? गलती से हाथी ने मजाक में भी कंधे पे सूंड रख दी. आपने न्यूज भी देखी होंगी ना, कुछ लोग पेट लायन रखते थे, लायन ने ओनर को खा लिया. तो बिकॉज दीज एनिमल्स आर नॉट डोमेस्टिकेटेड, लेकिन फिर भी हमें दिखाते थे. पुराने जमाने में अगर आप देखेंगे मिडिवल टाइम्स की फोटोज देखेंगे ना, वाली फोटोज नहीं, सेल्फीज वगैरह नहीं, जो पेंटिंग होती है, वहां पे आप देखेंगे कि किंग को, लायन को ऐसे पकड़ के मुंह खोल रहा है लायन का किंग, क्योंकि मसल पावर वाज कंसिडर्ड एज द ओनली पावर एट दैट टाइम. तो लिखिए, दिस फेज वाज कॉल्ड एज द ग्रेट पावर पॉलिटिक्स एंड हार्ड पावर वाज कंसिडर्ड द ओनली सोर्स ऑफ रियल पावर. And hard power was considered as the only source of real power. Only source of real power. Okay? अब हार्ड पावर क्या होती है? मिलिट्री एंड इकोनॉमिक पावर. ठीक है, कहीं पे साइड में लिख लीजिए, मिलिट्री एंड इकोनॉमिक पावर इज कॉल्ड एज द हार्ड पावर. Military and economic power is the hard power. Okay? Considered the real source of power. Full stop. Nation states were the key actors. Nation states were the key actors, and there was no faith in international law. Nation states were the key actors, and there was no faith in international law.
Sir, please repeat करेंगे.
The nation states were the key actors, and there was no faith in international law. Okay, faith in international law, full stop. The ultimate goal of any nation was self-survival. The ultimate goal of any nation was self-survival. The ultimate goal of any nation was self-survival, where there was no permanent friends, where there was no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. Where there was no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. Full stop. Balance of power was considered as the common sense. Balance of power was considered as the common sense. And the nation could only protect their national interest. And nation could only protect their national interest when they had hard power. When they had hard power. Full stop. When they had hard power. मतलब आज के जमाने में होता है ना, जापान बिना आर्मी के सरवाइव कर रहा है. उस जमाने में जापान भी नहीं करता था सरवाइव, क्योंकि बिना हार्ड पावर के लगता है हम तो सरवाइव कर ही नहीं सकते. So there was a security dilemma. There was a security dilemma. There was a security dilemma where international politics was considered as a subject of, where international politics was considered as a subject of manifestation of human nature. International politics was considered as a subject of manifestation of human nature. Manifestation of human nature. That is aggressive and hungry for power. Manifestation of human nature. That is aggressive and hungry for power. Full stop. Aggressive and hungry for power. Full stop. During this phase, aggressive and hungry for power. Full stop. During this phase, power was considered as ends and means. Power was considered as ends and means. Ends and means. And there was no scope for ethics in international politics. And there was no scope for ethics in international politics. International politics. Okay. Are you clear? Yes, no. Very good. आगे लिखिए. Phase 2. Phase 2. Right. It is also called as interwar phase. Phase 2 is also called as interwar phase. Right. It emerged after the end of First World War. It emerged after the end of First World War. And lasted only for 20 years. Lasted only for 20 years. However, even this short-lived period, even in this short-lived period, this phase brought certain changes. Even in this short-lived period, this phase brought certain changes in the structure of international politics. Brought changes in the structure of international politics. Full stop. Okay. International politics. Full stop. Right? क्या change हुए? The concept of collective security was introduced. The concept of collective security was introduced as against the balance of power. The concept of collective security was introduced as against the balance of power. And League of Nations came into existence. And League of Nations came into existence. Full stop. The liberal school of international politics was also introduced. The liberal school of international politics was also introduced. Which was considered as utopian or idealistic. The liberal school of international politics was also introduced, which was considered as utopian or idealistic. Full stop. ठीक है? Right, next paragraph. League of Nations. League of Nations. What is considered? But a League of Nations. Oh, sorry. Liberalism was considered as utopian. 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 Okay. League of Nations was considered as a failed experiment. Was considered as a failed experiment. And due to great economic depression, the world started following protectionism. Full stop. Started following protectionism. Full stop. Right. There was a reversal of democracy. And rise of authoritarianism. There was a reversal of democracy and rise of authoritarianism during this phase. and
Sir,
hence
rise of
rise of authoritarianism, reversal of democracy and rise of authoritarianism. Full stop. And hence, though liberalism was introduced in the IR, and hence liberalism was introduced in the IR, but it could not grow. It could not grow because of contrary conditions. Because of contrary conditions. Okay. Now, third is phase 3. That is Cold War phase. Phase 3, Cold War phase. Right. This phase began and continued till the disintegration of USSR. Continued till the disintegration of USSR. Disintegration of USSR. Full stop. During this phase, the Western world was trying to follow during this phase, the Western world was trying to follow liberal ideas. And we witnessed the emergence of transatlantic community. Transatlantic community. But transatlantic community means USA and UK. They are having the relations. Okay? They are having the relations. On the other hand,
सर एक बार रिपीट करना विटनेस के बाद.
just during this phase, the Western world was trying to follow the liberal ideas, and the world witnessed the emergence of transatlantic community. USSR, on the other hand, was applying. USSR, on the other hand, was applying its form of communism. Was applying its form. देखिए समझ में क्या कैसे लिख रहे हैं? We are not writing Marxist form of communism. It was applying its form of communism. Its form of communism. However, for the rest of the world, international politics was totally different. International politics was totally different. And realism continued to be practiced. Realism continued to be practiced. Okay. Right. Now next. Right. Phase 4, post Cold War. Post Cold War. Right. It is symbolized with the end of Cold War and the beginning of. It is symbolized with the end of Cold War and the beginning of the globalization around the world. Beginning of globalization around the world. Full stop. The concept of New World Order. The concept of New World Order, comma, end of history. Concept of New World Order, end of history, comma, borderless world. Borderless world. Were being described as the prevalent concept of world politics. Were being described as the prevalent concept of world politics. Okay. Full stop. During this phase, liberal school of thought became most dominant. Liberal school of thought became most dominant. And it challenged realists like it never did. Challenged like it never did. Okay. Right, next paragraph. This phase also paved the way for the beginning of new approaches. This phase also paved the way for beginning of new approaches like critical Marxism, social constructivism, etc. Okay. Full stop. It is during this phase. The discipline of international relations. During this phase, the discipline of international relations became multi-dimensional. During this phase, the discipline of international relations became multi-dimensional. Okay. Are we clear? So this is the beginning. From tomorrow onwards, tomorrow is Eid, है ना? Tomorrow is Eid. देखते हैं कल नहीं रखना है नहीं रखना, डिपेंड करेगा क्योंकि ईद है या नहीं है, देखते हैं. ठीक है, जो भी हम रखेंगे क्लास, वी विल बी बिगिनिंग विद द थ्योरी ऑफ इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस. ठीक है, ये टाइम सबको सूट कर रहा है? कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं है? बताइए. है ना?
सुबह हो जाए तो बढ़िया है.
सुबह हो जाए बढ़िया बेटा, कर लेंगे सुबह. काफी लोगों का क्या है, कुछ वर्किंग है, कुछ एक हफ्ते इवनिंग कर लेते, फिर सुबह ही करते. ठीक है, दिवाली वाली छुट्टियों में हम सिलेबस खींचेंगे अपना. आप क्या सोच रहे हो? दिवाली की छुट्टी है, सब जगह सबकी छुट्टी होंगी, ऑफिस वालों की भी. हम अपनी क्योंकि दिवाली तो शाम को मनाओगे, पटाखे शाम को फोड़ोगे, सुबह क्लास करेंगे, ठीक है ना। दिवाली वाले टाइम पे हम अच्छे से खींचेंगे अपना सिलेबस, क्योंकि कोई आप ये भी नहीं बोलोगे घर जाना है ना, सब घर पे ही है। चलिए विल कंटिन्यू इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास, आराम से पढ़ेंगे, धीरे धीरे पढ़ते रहेंगे, क्योंकि बहुत दिनों से सबकी डिमांड आई थी इवनिंग रखो, पर क्या लोग कुछ दिन इवनिंग रखते हैं, फिर मॉर्निंग में अपना ले आए, ठीक है। ओके, सो विल कंटिन्यू tomorrow or day after tomorrow, depending upon tomorrow whether Eid is not there or there, ठीक है बच्चों, वेरी गुड। चलिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच।